let's cut the crap and talk about how manifestation actually works. I'm not talking about the new age bullshit that everybody wants to believe in. The only thing that The Secret ever manifested was millions of dollars for the dumb broad that wrote it. So let's get into real esoteric knowledge and talk about how it works. Here's your disclaimer. It's not easy. Things don't just magically happen. So let's get started. We always have to start with fundamentals, so let's talk about the Trinity. Everything in life is trinities. For this one, we're talking about the most sacred of trinities: Father, Mother, Child. So you have to understand that God the Father is thought. Thoth. Think, thought, thoth. Everything always starts with the Father. Everything starts with a thought. And everything must follow the natural order of things, so we start with a thought. That's the masculine, the father. The thought carries the seed. But that seed has to be planted somewhere, does it not? Well, that would be in the mother, the divine feminine, the heart, emotions. You have to take the thought and impregnate the heart. Those two have to come in alignment. And in that order, thought, then emotion. You cannot impregnate logic with emotion. You can only impregnate emotion with logic. But the emotion is the portal that gives birth to the male child. And it's always a male child. God, Mary, Jesus, Osiris, Isis, Horus. But the male child represents action. Start with a thought, impregnate the emotion, give birth to the action. It has to follow this order, or you cannot manifest. Because of pop culture esotericism, all of you think you can just want something into existence. Like my grandpappy always said, you can want in one hand and shit in the other. Tell me which one fills up faster. Nobody ever became a billionaire just from wanting it bad enough. People at the very top, the elite, they know this shit to be true. They start with a thought, impregnate emotion, act on the emotion, get what they want, because what started as a thought becomes result in the 3D, thus creating a manifestation. But let's add a little bit more of an advanced layer onto this. I want you guys to succeed. When you take the seed that is the thought and impregnate the heart that is the emotion, and please remember that the electromagnetic field that comes from the heart is like 10,000 times stronger than the brain. That's why it has to follow this. That's why the feminine is so sacred. You have to feel as if it has already come to pass. Surround yourself with the feeling and the idea that it's already happened and you're just waiting on the timeline to catch up. But while this is going on, you're putting action to work. Faith without works is dead. It's nothing. Think about how many Christians just want and want and want from God, yet they live in poverty. It's because they're looking to an outside source. Jesus said so. Out of his own mouth, he said, if the ones that lead you should say to you that, look, the kingdom of heaven is in the sky, the birds will precede you. And if they should say to you that it's in the sea, the fish will precede you. But if they say it is within you, then he will precede you. Then he goes on to say, you have to know yourself, because the kingdom of heaven is within yourself. But if you do not know yourself, you dwell in poverty, and you are that poverty, which means you are nothing. He also goes later on in that book to say that a man who has something in his hand will be granted much more, but a man who has nothing, well, even the very little that he has will be taken away.